What is up, YouTubers? It's Rai here, and today I have my thoughts and impressions on the Destiny beta and Destiny the game itself, which is coming out here, I believe, September 9th. I have it pre-ordered, ready to go, which probably leads you to believe I already am going to buy it, which I am based on the beta and what I played, but I thought it'd be a good chance to let you guys see some raw gameplay footage here I recorded on the Xbox One playing through the Destiny beta. Most of the stuff is with some friends or some solo Moon stuff you'll see here at the end of me playing, but that's what you're going to be watching, and then just basically give my thoughts, impressions, some of the pros and cons I have about Destiny, and thoughts on this game. So let's go ahead and get to it. Now, the first thing I want to say is it's a beta, not a demo. I've played and been in mini betas, and I've heard plenty of people say that, oh, you know, this is not a good representation of the game, and I'm not going to buy the game because this game stinks, and acting like it's a demo. It's a beta. It's old code. Usually, I think they said, Bungie said that this code, you know, is already 3 to 4 months old. They're already running it on updated code with better resolutions and things like that. So it's not necessarily a final representation of the game. In fact, I know they said they're going to nerf some things and tweak a few things already. I think the vehicles are getting a nerf. Some of those are, and you know, so you're not going to see the same thing in the beta that you see in the final product of the game. Now, that being said, it is you know, kind of gives you a good feeling for the game. I had my apprehensions about this game going into it. Let me say that right off the bat. I wasn't too sure what I thought about Destiny. I did watch some of the PlayStation PS4 guys playing it in the beta because they got it early, and I just thought, you know, it doesn't look like the enemies are that challenging and stuff like that, but I wasn't going to, you know, I was going to reserve judgment until I played the beta a while, got a feel for the game, and see if I really like it. I'm a big Borderlands fan. I was a Halo fan, and I figured this is kind of a melding between those two games. So I thought, let me give it a chance and I'll try it out. And I have to say, I actually like it a lot. It is kind of what I expected of those games. The enemies do get tougher, I come to find out. As you progress in the game, you'll find some tougher boss characters on some of these instances and missions and things like that. And it could just be a lot of fun, especially if you play with a couple friends. So I did decide I am going to get it. I did have a lot of fun with it, and I'm actually looking forward to playing it and really getting into the deeper stuff of the game when it comes out here in about a month or so. Let me go into some of the pros here. Now, I believe it had, even for a beta, for having old code, it had really solid gameplay. It felt fluid, it felt smooth, it felt balanced, it felt really polished for a beta, and that's something that I think is just typifies Bungie and what Bungie does. I got that feeling from it. There's a ton of stuff to do in this game. You have raids, exploring, the story missions. It's even got player versus player, and I played a lot of the player versus player multiplayer modes in the Crucible, and I loved that, and I had a lot of fun with that. I felt like they did that very well. I feel really like what this game does, like I said, it kind of takes the best parts of Halo, which are the gameplay and the science fiction lore that Bungie is really good at crafting, and a lot of the ambiance just they have in those games. And then also it takes some of the best parts of Borderlands, basically that open world, going for that loot and outfitting a character, having that kind of shooter RPG progression thing, and then the co-op as well that they do really good. I think it really takes the best of both of those games and kind of combines them. I mean, Halo was a game well known by fans, well loved, but I always had a knock on Halo. What was the multiplayer seems to be basically throw your grenade, run up there, shoot your clip, empty your clip at them, and then run up and try to get a melee kill. And a lot of Halo just kind of felt like it boils down to that kind of combat scenario, where this game I didn't feel like it was that way in playing player versus player. And in the Borderlands, comparing it to Borderlands, I always had a knock on it is that they would just kind of, yeah, you'd have all this loot drop and all these guns that you can have. Most of them were crud. Let's face it, they were, you know, the basic level guns that would drop that you would just leave on the ground and not even use. This game seems to kind of trim a lot of the fat from those two games and kind of polish it up a lot and make for a really unique, fun, entertaining experience. And I have to say, I was really impressed with it. I just feel like this game has a really good chance at refining the genre of open world co-op games and I think that Bungie's sitting on something good here. I think that they could really do something well with this game. I look, me and my friends, as you see, I'm playing with a couple of them here. We really look forward to playing this and getting deep into the game and playing together and some of those things. Now that's going to kind of lead me into what I have for some of my cons here. Let me turn my little notes page here, because I wrote down some notes here so I don't sound like a blabbering idiot here. But basically, some of the cons I have, it's possibly not as big as we think. We were really kind of led to believe that this game was going to be gargantuanly huge and you're going to go exploring on these different worlds. And, well, yeah, okay, if I go to the moon, but the moon is only one little section, one little area that I can go explore in, and then that's it. And then I go to Venus, and Venus is the same, and Mars is the same, and Earth is the same. It really depends on how big the areas are that you explore on these worlds and how many of them are there. Borderlands honestly feels like a bigger game to me, at least at this point. Again, I know it's a beta. We haven't seen everything yet, so I'm holding off on saying this is my final judgment. I'm still reserving judgment on it. But, Borderlands, even, it could have been on one world, but you had so many territories to go to, and some of the territories were so vast and big and large that it felt like just this huge game. And that's kind of what I want to see from Destiny. I didn't get a big feeling from that in the beta, and I hope when the game comes out and progresses, we get to see more of that. The level 20 cap. I know I saw a video on IGN. IGN's posted some great videos on this game explaining a lot of stuff, saying you can kind of over-level your character to level 29. But even still, I got to level 8 with all 3 different characters in the beta pretty quickly, and it didn't seem like it took that much effort on my part, other than just kind of, gaining the XP and doing the missions and stuff. And I kind of leveled up pretty quick, and I thought, well, even if you over-level at 29 past that, there's going to be players that within days within a couple days are going to be at level 20, and then within probably a couple weeks will easily be at level 29. What's there after that? Is it then just going and redoing the same missions or the same raids or the same exploring to find this different loot? Is that basically what the game boils down to at that point? I'm really interested to see how this system works out with their leveling system and see what they do with it. The 3-player grouping system, I'm not a fan of. I think 4 players is the sweet spot. It's been established in a lot of co-op games up to this point. And with these new systems, with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, should be no reason why we have to do a 3-party grouping to go in and play. And I've, during the beta, had to leave friends out because they came in late. We couldn't get them in. So that's something I'd like to see them change. And plus, if in the raids you have to play, it's a 6-player raid, well, then you got to add 3 more players. I mean, how does that all work? Why can't I just make it seamless and take 6 players from exploring to the missions to the raids to all that? I'd really like to see them change that to 6 players. That would be good. And 30 frames per second. I mean, come on, Bungie. These, we got high tech machines now. We don't need 30 frames per second. The PC, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One all can handle 60 frames per second with these games at higher resolutions. Should be no reason why we're talking about 30 frames per second for a game of this caliber. I think it should be up closer to 60, like you have a lot of games already posting on these next-gen systems. So, and I'm one that notices the difference between 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second. I might not notice so much the 1080p, 900p compared to 720p, but I do definitely notice the frames per second differences. So I'd like to see them kind of increase that. Well, that's kind of what I had as far as pros and cons. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to try the Warlock first. I don't know about you guys. Let me know what you think, what you guys might want to start off with, what character you like and why. I played all of them, and I enjoyed all of them kind of equally, all 3 classes. I had a good time with them. I was enjoying them a lot, and I just thought, gosh, I don't know which one I'm going to really start with, but I believe it's going to be the Warlock. I'm just a sucker for mage type characters that have magical powers in Skyrim and Oblivion, those types of games. I'm always trying to be a wizard that doesn't even need a sword. I can just use magic and conjuring spells and kind of some of those things to equip it. So the more magic-based characters, I mean, that's kind of what I always kind of gravitate towards, and I think that's probably what I'll do here. But in your comments, guys, let me know what you think. I'd really like to hear what you guys think and what you plan on starting with and why, and what you like about it or don't like about them. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, this is RyRy. Take care.